friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and with all the changes that have taken place in the last year, and with territory battles being something that we are going to be celebrating and commemorating a year of now in the game, I wanted to go through and talk about some of the territory battle maps that I personally would love to see in this game. Now, one of them is kind of a two-parter, but still, these are just the ones that I would like to see. Not all of these are in the prequels, but they are all prequel and before, if that gives you a hint of where I am going. Now, the first one is the Battle of Coruscant. The Battle of Coruscant that I'm specifically referring to is the Battle of Coruscant above the planet of Coruscant. This was the attack on the Separatists on the Galactic Republic's capital world. What would be cool about this is kind of a two-parter. I would love to see mostly a space battle with maybe just one land battle or something like that. Now, I'm not entirely sure how that would work out because we do not have enough ships for that to happen. Even if, I mean, we definitely couldn't have a long one, right? We definitely couldn't have a long territory battle map or territory battles with this Battle of Coruscant because there's just not enough ships in the game for this to be effective. But I think that it would be really cool if it was just a straight ship territory battle. I think that would be pretty neat. It won't happen anytime soon if it does, but that would be sweet. Now, jumping further back, I would also like to see the Battle of Coruscant as played out in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Now, the second Battle of Coruscant actually isn't a Battle of Coruscant. It's actually called the Sacking of Coruscant. And this is the story of Darth Malgus, or the Sith Empire and the Mandalorians teaming up to fight the Jedi Order in the Galactic Republic. Now, this is totally from Star Wars: The Old Republic. It's not officially canon anymore. It would be freaking awesome. And it would definitely have some ship components and some main components, and it would be a fun way to bring in the Old Republic and the New Republic. It would be a really fun way to combine those. Now, we don't have enough, in my mind, Old Republic characters that would be beneficial or that you would use in this area. Obviously, you have a few characters, a few of those nameless Jedi who would be able to be used, the characters that no one is using now, let's face it, unless you're a brand new player. It would be a really, really interesting battle map because it could be taken from either side. It could be taken as you are the Sith going to sack the Jedi Temple, or you are a Jedi or Galactic Republic character and you are going to defend your territory. I think either of those could work. There's definitely area for a ship component that would be effective. We do have a few KOTOR ships already, or Old Republic ships already. They are all Sith, if I can remember correctly, until we get the Ebon. It is a really, really awesome story and a really interesting, obviously the SWGOH, Star Wars: The Old Republic, was a fun MMO. And I liked it. I did. It's just a time drain because you play it and you're just always playing it and you have time for nothing else. It is a fun game, but the story is awesome and the battle is amazing and so freaking cool. I really think this would make a fun battle map. And I don't think they're alluding to it because they haven't given, in my mind, they haven't given us near enough characters to be effective for this. We just don't have it yet. Now, if you do want to check out the story, I'll leave a link to like a free Audible in the section below, and you can, download the Darth Malgus story Alliance. I think it's Allegiance and Betrayal. I'm not entirely sure, but it's some of the greatest stories that I really, really enjoy. Check them out. Now, moving on, and this one is actually tied to the first again. It's less likely, but it would have a really fun twist, and that is the Battle of Utapau.
Hello there.
Now, this is the one. This is the story. This is where we get the famous line from General Kenobi. And this is where Kenobi actually takes on Grievous. And so there could be a lot of really cool stages in this. A lot of really cool I do think there's a lot of different phases that could be available for this. And so I think that this is an actual possibility and would be a really cool way to introduce what some people are viewing as the neutral tag, the switch where with like the clones where they switch from good guy to bad guy. Although I don't view that as the neutral tag or a purpose for the neutral tag. They may go that way. I hope they don't. And you could start out as clones and even maybe a few Jedi, and you would use those groups in phases 1, 2, and 3. And what you would do is you would be fighting the Separatists, you'd be fighting droids, you'd be fighting other stuff, right? Then you would be jumping and saying, okay, now that Order 66 has gone through, and maybe there'd be a cool animation on the day that Order 66 gets launched or something like that. But 4 and 5 or 5 and 6 would actually be moments where you're fighting no longer Separatists, but you're fighting the clones again. And maybe this is where they bring in new clones. Maybe they bring in super cool clones. Maybe this is where we see a few clone reworks. I don't know, but that would be awesome. I think that there's a lot of potential there. And if you really wanted to see the Battle of Coruscant play out, and maybe phases 1, 2, 3, and 4 take place on Utapau, whereas phases 5 and 6 take place on Coruscant, and you have to defend the Jedi Temple, or you have to then sack the Jedi Temple. That would be freaking cool. And it would be a fun way to introduce maybe like a Darth Vader Anakin. That would be awesome. Or maybe instead of it just being, 4 phases on Utapau, 2 phases on Coruscant, maybe it's 2 phases on Utapau, maybe 2 phases on Coruscant, and 2 phases on Mustafar. That would be awesome. And the major battle, the final battle scene would be between Anakin and Obi-Wan. One-on-one battle. That would be freaking sweet. That would be really cool. Now that does feel very much more like a raid than it actually does a territory battle map, but it would be cool for either of those situations to play out. I'm not entirely sure. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I really do. I think it would be really, really cool. The next one is definitely one that I think they may be considering, but it's something that I think that I would love. I would love to see. And this is the Siege of Mandalore. Now, there's a lot of really awesome moments between the Jedi and the Mandalorians. There's some awesome moments between Darth Maul, Darth Sidious, and Savage Opress. There's really a lot of cool stuff to go along with that. It would be awesome if you could take part as a Sith, right? As a member of Death Watch, as whatever, and go through and take over Mandalore. Obviously, there's characters that I think we would be missing for this. We definitely need Death Watch. We definitely need Spider Legs Maul, or at least Metal Legs Maul, which I think he's coming eventually, hopefully sooner rather than later. I'd hate for this to be something that's, put on the back burner way so long that we never get him. I do think that he's coming eventually. I don't dislike the duplicates as a collector of characters. That, to me, I don't mind the duplicates. It doesn't bother me as much. But I think it would be really, really cool to see a character like that, to see a Spider Legs Maul, to see a Siege of Mandalore. Now, in Clone Wars, I think it's season 6, we do see parts of the Siege of Mandalore. We're going to see other parts of the Siege of Mandalore in season 7. I think that seems like it's going to be a highly focused event or a highly focused topic of events. I'm not entirely sure, but it does look like that. Also in Ahsoka Tano, the novel, we do see some moments of the Siege of Mandalore, and I think it would be really, really cool. And it'd be a great way to introduce characters like Death Watch, like Metal Legs Maul, like maybe non-Jedi, not a Fulcrum Ahsoka. It would be really, really neat to see these different characters introduced in a territory battle map like this. And finally, this is the one that I actually think that we will be seeing. This is the territory battle map that I'm kind of expecting at this point, and this is the Battle of Geonosis. This is the battle in episode 2 where you see Obi-Wan Kenobi, Padme, and angsty Anakin fighting in the Battle of the Arena, right? This would be really, really cool because it would introduce other characters to the game. Obviously, it would introduce Padme, because that's one of the things that a lot of people are speculating right now, is that Padme is being introduced. It could introduce the Reek, the Nexu, and the Acklay. That would be a lot of fun. I don't know if we did get them as playable characters. I'm not sure that we would. We got the Wampa, so possibly. But it would be cool to see them fight against these three and to have them as stronger characters, even stronger opponents to take on. I mean, we do see the Wampa on Echo Base. We could see these three added just randomly. Now, if we do, I would definitely suspect them to be added to the neutral pile. They're clearly neutral because they're not evil. They're just giant monster creatures. I mean, they could be really sweet and kind. We don't know. We just only see them being mistreated. No, I'm not one for, galactic animal rights. I won't fight for that. But all I am saying is we don't necessarily know. I still think these characters are neutral. They'd kill Geonosins just as quickly as they'd kill the Jedi. But again, this battle could be a bigger one. This could introduce us to a number of great characters. At least characters that we could fight against. The Reek, the Nexu, and the Acklay would obviously be three amongst them. We now are getting Jango Fett, so maybe we will get a Mace Windu rework as part of this. We could see a few different Jedi, some Jedi that really haven't seen a lot of love, that were there at the Battle of Geonosis, show up and become more effective, become better characters. I don't know. We could see clone troopers being added. We could see clone troopers being reworked because of this. There could be a lot that really revolves around this one territory battle. And that's why I do think that it's eventually going to be coming, because there's a lot of potential for it and a lot of people asking for it. I think that this would be a great opportunity for the devs on either side. On the light side, we could see a Clone Wars, Clone Trooper, Jedi possible rework and introduction of characters like Padme. We could also see on the dark side a use of this type of territory battle to introduce new droids, to introduce new separatists, to introduce more Geonosians, to see a definite rework of the separatist faction. And that's why I think that this is more likely going to happen than some of the other ones. I still want to see a lot of the other ones. The Siege of Coruscant was awesome. Read the books. At least watch this full clip of the Siege of Coruscant. So freaking cool. I really, really enjoy speculating about these things, but these are the battle maps I would love to see added. What battle maps would you love to see? How would you like to see them played out? Leave a comment in the section below. Visit us on Discord and chat with us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would like to see added to this game. Check out some of the links in the section below as well. Some of the stuff that we've talked about in this video will be accessible in the section below. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerd, and as always, my friends,